Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com, and it's time for your post-Impact Wrestling show. It is August 25th. I am here. As always, I am Joel Pearl. I am here with my bestie, my favorite, my going off on another tangent. Oh my God, it's Cresta Starr. How are you, Cresta?
I once again have had our tab open up in another tab, and I was like, Joel Pearl is coming in stereo. 4 Joel Pearls. I'm seeing double. Hi, guys. It's me, Cresta, and I am super excited to talk Impact Wrestling. How are you, Joel? How was your week? Did you enjoy wrestling this week? You've been a very busy man this week.
I've been a very busy man. I have talked a lot about wrestling. I've had some people talking to me about wrestling. It was something. There were certain things about wrestling that I absolutely loved, and there were some things about wrestling that I absolutely didn't love. But as for me personally, I'm doing okay. I got the house to myself tonight. I was able to make some curry Thai veggie rice dish, which was great. My wife is allergic to curry, to coconut.
Oh, so, no.
Yeah, so whatever. If I can make it, I'll make it. But other than that, if I can make it, I will make it. But otherwise, I'll just do it on my own. Yeah, I can't complain. You know what? There was a lot going on. Impact was good tonight, at least in my opinion. We'll see what the chat has to say. There was some good stuff, some okay stuff. I'm sure, Cresta, you'll also have some opinions on Impact Wrestling.
I always got opinions. That's what I do. Opinion Nation over here.
But of course, if you're here in the chat, hello, how you doing? Good to see you. If you have a sec, go ahead, leave a thumbs up on this video. Say hello to us here at Fightful.com and at YouTube.com/Fightful, where you can subscribe to us. Always breaking news, always talking wrestling, always doing the stuff. There are some interviews coming out, some fun stuff. Keep an eye out. We'll talk about Select in a minute if you really want the breaking news, Cresta Starr.
Breaking news! Oh my gosh, breaking news! I'm ready for it. Always.
Well, I was ready for BTI. I was ready for Impact. How did you feel overall tonight's show? We usually started this out of 5 rating. How would you rate Impact tonight?
A 3, a solid 3. I'm gonna say I start off with the things I like. Commentary from BTI all the way to the end, superb. Commentary all tonight had me laughing. But I was also raised that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So the chicken was lovely.
Was it glazed? How was the chicken cooked?
It was herb roasted and pan fried.
Any good sides to come with it? We got some potatoes. We got some mash. What are we doing?
We had a side of Zicky Dice and Johnny Swinger.
Okay. First of all, sorry, I gotta go on a tangent for a sec. So I met up with a friend today for lunch. Okay, This is where we go from like 100 million viewers to 0. Meet up with a friend for lunch, and the place I went to had this burger, and the burger style was a people are gonna be like, you fat bastard. It's like it's a grilled cheese bun with burger and bacon. Okay. So I gave my order, whatever the burger was called, and they came out with a grilled cheese with bacon, like a bacon grilled cheese. And I was like, that's not what I ordered. It was bad. It was just, they fixed it. They got the burger for me. But man, if you're going to do it, don't have a bacon grilled cheese and a grilled cheese bacon burger on your menu, or at least teach your staff. Anyway, the point is, pan-seared fried chicken. What are we talking about? Oh, Impact Wrestling. It's Impact Wrestling for August 25th.
I love it.
Maybe y'all have a better burger in your head. I don't know. BTI open up the show, and of course we got to talk about it for the next 25 to 35 minutes. Swingman and Zicky Dice take on the team of Bullet Club's Ace Austin and Hikuleo. I actually really thought this match was a lot of fun. The flex off to start the match between Ace and Swingman. By the way, if you didn't know Ace's thighs, they won the whole thing. Mess. 30 waist, 42 around the thigh.
Yo, that match was comedy, but it was actually really good. It was really good comedy, all things considered. And I went into it with the expectations on the floor, and I was blown away. And commentary, the name of the game was innuendo, and how many, I'm not even going to finish that statement because I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure.
No, please. Let your failure flop fly.
You know what? You're right. The name of the game tonight was innuendo, and how many can you fit in there?
You're not the only one who gets to make innuendo tonight, and we'll talk about Killer Kelly's promo in a few minutes.
The whole night was commentary and innuendo.
Hikuleo doing the Tongan death grip is phenomenal. For those who don't know, Hikuleo's daddy is Ming, aka the baddest badass ever to be a badass in professional wrestling. And I love him using the Tongan death grip. Match ends. Ace Austin hits the fold on Zicky Dice. He eats the pin. Swingman never loses. So, Cresta, I ask you very plainly, when do we get Swingman as the champion?
So I'm going to answer this seriously first. First, I will say that commentary did say that they've never won. They've never won. But the Swingman does never lose. I think it would have to take a Black Taurus push, like, holy crap, he won this. Okay, Johnny Swinger ain't bad. Holy crap, he won that. Okay, can Josh Alexander? Okay, Eddie Edwards is the champion. Yeah, Johnny Swinger for champion. Johnny Swinger for champion. There we go. There we go. That's how you find the way. Because the way things are looking and the lines in the sand, if I don't want to wish that into existence, but yes, Johnny Swinger for president. The chicken was lovely.
I'm seeing in the chat, Johnny Swinger for digital media champion. You can't give a man whose internet access is from the 1980s a digital media championship. You think he knows how to use Twitter? I've tried to tweet him. He doesn't know. He doesn't do it. So how can Swingman be a digital media champion if he doesn't hold the championship? By the way, if you want to be the champion of our hearts, you can go ahead and donate a super chat. What's the super chat, you ask? Bottom of the screen on youtube.com/Fightful, there is a $sign. Any amount that you click and donate will get your question or statement around the air. It also helps myself and Cresta look good in front of Sean Ross Sapp, so you can be like, hey, Sean, Joel and Cresta are great, but you know what's even better? I like it when they get paid. So go ahead and do that. Or you can donate a Humper Chat at humperchats.com. Cresta, tell them how they can spend their hard-earned money on our supporting.
You can go to humperchats.com. It's just like the super chats here on YouTube or wherever you're getting your super chats from, except we keep a little bit more, and it makes us look good in the eyes again of our Lord and Savior, Sean Ross Sapp, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Batter, Latter Saints. Thank you very much.
Jesus Christ. I have to talk to that man afterwards. I'm screwed. Why would you do that?
I love and respect you, Sean. You're really tall. Please don't choke slam me.
That's a valid point. Swingman never loses. Swingman should be not only the champion, but he should probably also join Bullet Club. Could you imagine Swingman all decked out in Bullet Club attire? Come on. He's the guy.
I had to stop myself from laughing because, again, tonight is a night of innuendos. But remember when Ace Austin was trying to sleep with Eddie Edwards' wife? And then Johnny Swing and Ace Austin on the same team. And somehow Zicky Dice going to get roped into... No. That's my answer, no. Swing Club.
Jesus Christ.
You started this.
We went from up here, and we are dragging that bar down as far as it goes.
It doesn't matter, baby, because in the dungeon, the bar's on the ground.
Good Lord. Impact itself opens up with the Knockouts tag titles on the line. The team of Vex, the new Knockouts Knockout tag champions, take on the team of Mia Yim and Knockouts world champion Jordynne Grace. Deonna Purrazzo wears a sheer cape now. I think that's very worth putting out there. And Chelsea Green. So this is hilarious, to me at least. At one point, commentary is putting over the new micro brawlers that are coming out, and they're talking about putting out a Team Canada variation of Bobby Roode. And I'm just like, well, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time, because you certainly aren't seeing him in WWE right now, but he'll show up eventually, I assume. Either way, I then hear commentary say, oh, Chelsea Green's Canadian. And I'm thinking to myself, if Chelsea Green started a Team Canada, who would be in Chelsea Green's Team Canada? You ever think about that? You ever think about who the Canadians are? Did you know Chelsea Green was Canadian, first of all?
I did not know. And every time I think of Team Canada, I'm like, well, Petey Williams, obviously.
Yes.
No matter where you go, I feel like Petey Williams, and you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't have Sami Callihan or Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens from somewhere just apparate. You got to have them from somewhere.
It's actually Petey Williams' birthday this weekend.
Well, happy birthday. You'll probably never see this, but happy birthday from me to you. Happy birthday, Petey Williams.
I'm seeing Taya in the chat. She is from Vancouver. Speedball Mike Bailey is from Quebec. Josh Alexander, of course, who's just up the road from me outside of Toronto. There's some good names in there. Actually, I'm a big fan of adding Taya, Josh, and Mike. And then Scott Demore has to be the coach. No question. It can't be anyone else. No one else. But yes,
Chelsea Green got to be the mouthpiece. She's got to be the mouthpiece.
Yes. Diener's another one that I would absolutely.
Oh, he is from Canada?
Yeah, I actually saw him this past weekend over at Greektown Wrestling. Him and Big Joe had a great tag match. By the way, I also spoke to a few people, and you'll be able to see those interviews soon on Fightful.
Period.
How about Trey Miguel? He's not Canadian. I spoke to him.
I was going to say, is he Canadian?
He's not Canadian. I spoke to Trey Miguel. I spoke to RJ City. Mm-hmm. RJ City tore me apart for solid 15 minutes, by the way. It was awful.
It's all good. I'm going to take you. Don't tell anyone I said this, but I'm going to take you to the school of promo cutting because they're not going to keep talking about you. I got you. You're going to.
I just get bullied is what happens. I just get bullied on Fightful. That's the whole thing. And I don't get it. And then RJ City's all like, yeah, no, it's fine. He just tears me apart for a solid 15 minutes. That's just what I get. I watched RJ City's first match back since the pandemic. By the way, he faced Bhupinder Gujjar. So there's your Impact tie-in because I got to do that. And he beat Bhupinder Gujjar. Everyone does that. Except for tonight. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's get back to the match. Vexed versus Yim and Grace. There's a moment where they do a blind tag where Peraza gets herself in to the match. Jordynne Grace is kind of facing this and could see it, but instead she turns her back to it. And I thought it was really smart because the next spot is a flying crossbody from Deonna Purrazzo. It's a really good shock moment for Jordynne Grace to be hit by that flying crossbody without knowing that it's coming from someone who blind tagged herself in. Thought the match was really good. We can talk about the ramifications, but the match itself, enjoyable. Cresta, how did you feel about it? Vexed do pick up the win. Jordynne Grace is pinned by Deonna Purrazzo.
So I like this match overall. I liked, again, commentary theme of the night. They put over that this is the same team that Vexed beat to become number one contenders. They've beat them before, so this should be light work for them. Most importantly, I think Purrazzo getting the pin on Grace was crucial, especially with Masha Slamovic right at her door. It does set something up later on in the night, but I like the idea that maybe Grace and Yim stay together, and this becomes an ongoing thing with with Vex. And this way, if Grace drops the title to Masha, it won't be like some grave injustice because these are two women who I'm excited to see wrestle. Spoiler alert, I'm excited to see Peraza versus Masha. I'm excited for that. When that happened, I was like, but yes, I think that even if some shenanigans does happen, no one's really going to question it because there's a storyline. There's the seed is in the dirt right now. I thought it was a good match. I'm always excited to see Grace wrestle. And let me just make sure I got the whole note. I mean, Grace getting pinned by Peraza, I thought was a little bit of a yikes, but of course Green cheated. So come on, good teamwork. You can't be mad at that. What did you think about it?
On top of that, just piggybacking on the idea of the teamwork by Green and Purrazzo, their dew collector, as they call it, their finisher, that pendulum slam, it's really solid. It's really good. You mentioned that there was some distraction going on. It was really cool. They did like a cool spot where Mia Yim hits a missile dropkick on Deonna, and then Chelsea hits a blockbuster on Mia Yim. Jordynne Grace hits a gut wrench powerbomb on Chelsea Green, and then they do a dive to the outside of Yim and Grace, but it ends up being that we get back in the ring. Green does the distraction, like you said, on Jordynne Grace, and then the dew collector, and that is the 1, 2, 3. The story became Purrazzo pins Grace, and that is awesome because we had later on in the night, Gail Kim is approached by Vexed, and they're like, hey, we're unstoppable. We're undeniable. Last time, like Cresta, you were saying, last time we faced those two, Grace and Yim, we walked out number one contenders. Deonna pinned Grace. Therefore, I deserve to be number one contender, and tells Gail to stop with the favoritism. And of course, Gail Kim's like, you do deserve a shot. But also, Masha Slamovic has been on a roll. So next week on Impact, they're running Masha Slamovic versus Deonna Purrazzo. And I love this match because while Masha's getting those big wins and just racking them up, Deonna on the other side is absolutely making a case. and these two deserve to fight each other to find out who faces Jordynne Grace at Bound for Glory. The only other place I would have done this match would have been Victory Road, because that show comes before Bound for Glory, but I think it's like the week before Bound for Glory, so it doesn't make as much sense. If anything, they'll do some sort of like tag match between Deonna and, well, let's say Deonna wins, beats Masha, which I don't want. They'll do Deonna and Grace versus, or sorry, Deonna, and they'll do Vexed versus Jordynne and maybe Masha.
It would just be interesting to see, do you cut Grace's reign short again for Masha? Do you screw Masha for Purrazzo? And then Masha's like, oh no, oh hell no, now I'm screwing you over. It's interesting to see where it goes. If sorry, I'm dying today.
Get that water.
I have Kool-Aid in a vitamin water bottle. But it's like, it'd be interesting if Grace gets to keep it, because they did mention before, again, said that you are the shortest reigning champion, so get into it. It'd be interesting that she is a shortest reigning champion again, or does she keep it? And if she keeps it, how do we go from there? I'm interested. Either way, Peraza versus Slamovic, yes, I wasn't thinking about that, but now that it's in my mind, I need that every week. And I think if she does beat her, that's super credible. Super duper 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 duper. Not to say that she's not credible, but like, yes. And holy crap, you beating Purrazzo? Yes.
Yeah. That's a knockout maker. That is what it is. And Masha Slamovic is already on the ascent. And we talked about how Masha needs to keep upping her game and beating more and more credible women in the knockouts division. Deonna Purrazzo is a huge fish.
Yes.
And that is a big win if she gets it. And it makes more sense to have Jordynne versus Masha at Bound for Glory if it's going to be at the hands of defeating Deonna Purrazzo. I don't want there to be much of a schmoz. I'd love it to be just a straight up one-on-one match that ends, and that's it. But who knows? I mean, again, Masha versus Jordynne Grace, for example, it's a fresh matchup. We've talked about it before on the post show. Doing that match, doing Masha's first loss to Jordynne Grace at Bound for Glory, just puts Masha Slamovic on a big tear where she has to do it all again, and then she's extra angry and extra just world beater, and then takes out the knockouts champion, whoever that is. That's where my brain is.
I agree with that. That's not a bad shot either. That'd be really nice, because if she has to do it all over again, I feel like Killer Kelly has potential. Sometimes I'm just like, me, but she has potential. And once Killer Kelly is like all the way there, that'll be a really good match. Oh, a pissed off Masha versus a focused Killer Kelly. That'll be a really good match.
There's a lot of opportunity there. And we're going to keep talking about that, I'm sure. Masha and Killer Kelly. And I think they're going to purposely keep them apart until, as people continue to talk about it, until they finally meet face to face. And the audience is just going to be like, oh shit, here we go.
Yep. Agreed. 100%.
And I'll be there. I will be there for it. And like I see in the chat, people are pushing, Masha and Killer Kelly versus Vex versus Grace and Yim in a winner take all. I don't think Mia Yim's going to stick around much longer. I think, she's on a short-term deal. Don't know how long it's going to last. I'm sure, Sean and anyone else who's reporting contract news is going to get that info. But it feels to me like in a new world, Mia Yim could maybe find herself elsewhere. I don't know. It's up to her. I'm sure she's having a blast at Impact, but it feels like a winner take all that hasn't been done in Impact. At least in a long time that I can remember.
And I will say this, that the landscape of wrestling has changed like within the last month alone exponentially. And I think that putting Purrazzo versus Masha on free TV, if you will, is a perfect idea. The booking for everyone is becoming amazing. And I think with the landscape the way it is, if Yim stays, it'll be a good look for. But if she goes, wherever she's going, the future's bright. So
yeah, I'm moving some notes around so that we don't just go segment by segment. We'll tie them in with each other, because that VBD segment for one is just, I'm gonna try not to rip it apart, but there's some classic VBD nonsense in there, and we'll talk about it. We'll move forward. Mike Bennett takes on Karl Anderson. If Karl Anderson wins, Maria Bennett, Kanellis Bennett, easy for me to say, Maria's banned from ringside if Karl Anderson wins, and she will not be available for the tag team title match of OGK versus the the Good Brothers. By the way, don't check Impact socials again if you don't want to be spoiled. They did it again. they announced a bunch of matches for Lone Star Stampede, which is being taped tomorrow, and they're basically spoiling a lot of things. So be careful on Impact socials if you don't want to be spoiled. This match, though,
Twitter.
yeah, this match is great, man. It's a match between two bearded bald guys, and I'm all for it. Hell yeah, good stuff. What do you think?
For the Good Brothers versus Karl Anderson. First of all, let's go back to the innuendos because we were right back. And if you don't know, YouTube, Karl Anderson versus Mike Bennett with Maria Kanellis. Clownery to the highest order. I like how they tried to do the callback to it. And in the end, I do think Maria Kanellis needs to be banned from ringside. However, I will say that's not going to stop Honor No More from cheating. But it would be nice for it to be a decisive win either way. So I like the idea of having a decisive win either way. But we all know Honor No More going to cheat. They Honor No More. No more Honor. Why wouldn't they cheat? Come on now.
If you want more information on the Good Brothers contract situation, subscribe to Fightful Select. It's $5. Get in on it. Yeah, good match. Really well matched up. These two guys know how to go. They know how to wrestle. I love a Karl Anderson spine buster. There's something about Andersons and spine busters, Cresta. They always do the trick. And meanwhile, Mike Bennett, he just throws great discus forearms. He's just good. End of the match, Maria tries to get herself involved, of course. Matt Taven shows up. He tries to interfere. He kicks Karl Anderson in the face. Out comes Doc Gallows. He's okay, folks. He's totally fine. Choke slams Matt Taven on the apron. Anderson hits the gun stun, gets the win. They go right backstage. The Good Brothers are with Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore walks up to them and says it's time for the Good Brothers to defend their tag titles next week. Lone Star Stampede, so it's taped tomorrow night. Good Brothers take on OGK. Good Brothers call themselves the best tag team on the planet. Hint, hint, hint. And then it's a too sweet for Scott. And they tell the Good Brothers to go shut the mouths of Honor No More. Hooray.
I think Honor No More about to win these tag titles, and I'm already upset. And I'm at the 7 stages of grief. I'm at acceptance.
We've been talking about it for weeks, months now, that it was inevitable. OGK winning the tag titles, though, is a great get, because those two as a tag team are phenomenal. Like Taven and Bennett are a wonderful tag team. I'm looking forward to the matches that they have. I'm looking forward to them kind of breaking off from the traditional Honor No More rhetoric that Eddie Edwards talks about later. We'll get there. If we can see OGK be OGK and do the heat spots that aren't just like annoying, nonsensical Honor No More speak, I'll be happy. Let them be the kingdom. Don't let them be Honor No More.
Let me ask you a question then.
Sure.
Do you think Heath interferes in that match to screw over Honor No More?
No. And I think because of what happened during the Edward Edwards promo, I don't think he's going to get involved with OGK.
Okay.
I think he's gone as far as he can trying to take on OGK. I think now he's after the top dog.
That's fair. That's very fair.
We're in the back. Tasha Steelz is with Savannah Evans and a doctor named Ross Foreman. If you know, you know. He's asking the doctor. Tasha's like, hey, what's wrong? Tell me what's going on. And Dr. Foreman's just like, some internal damage. They're gonna need to run more time. First of all, if this is a doctor, run away. If that's your doctor ever, if a doctor ever gives you that kind of treatment, run. Just don't get a second opinion. Do not stick around. That was some hesitation.
That was the most unbelievable sports entertainment I've ever seen in my entire life. He didn't even try. Bless his heart, though. He got a check.
I feel like this doctor would be a really good media guy, maybe a really good PR director, maybe at a big wrestling company. But I don't think he's a doctor. So anyway, GM Miller catches up with Tasha Steelz as she leaves, and Tasha Steelz calls Killer Kelly a no good Freddy Krueger looking strawberry shortcake, Raggedy Ann heifer. And Killer Kelly is behind her back, chokes out Tasha Steelz, and Killer Kelly says, don't worry, sweetie. When I finish you, I won't come from behind. You'll see me.
Just join the Swinger Dungeon. Come on now. They need a lady. Come on now.
Blue Chew, this is your opportunity to sponsor this podcast. And we'll do it all the time because Killer Kelly decided to tell us that when she finishes you, she won't come from behind. And if you want to come from, no, we can't even do it because we don't have a sponsor to do this with. Hit us up. We can get all this stuff out here, but you decided you got it. We'll get there anyway.
You know what? Between me, you, and Denise Salcedo, we got this. We are positive people. We support all people.
Do whatever you do, just make sure you're safe about it.
Don't be silly.
Blue
I can't
Chew.
say the next part of that.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Jason Hotch is a new Impact Wrestling superstar. He won the Arnold Classic, got himself an Impact contract, debuted tonight against Bhupinder Gujjar. Brian Myers is on commentary, so clearly this match is absolutely not about Jason Hotch versus Bhupinder Gujjar.
Before we went on air, I said there were 2 matches that could have been done in an email. This is the first one.
Okay, that's fair. I do like that the Gujjar Myers story gets progressed through this. It gives a new guy a little bit of something to look at, which is great. Just a new guy that, I'm watching him on social media. He's getting a bunch of pins. He's getting a bunch of people retweeting him. It's great. He had a good showing. He's going to get better. He's only 25 years old, and I like that Brian Myers put him over. I like that Brian Myers continues to put over Bhupinder Gujjar as well. Yes. He doesn't make Gujjar look like an idiot. Gujjar hits a spine buster at one point, and Myers is like, that's a perfect spine buster. And Myers is a legitimate wrestling coach. He teaches this stuff. And he says, Gujjar, I like him, but I want him to earn the digital media championship. Well, obviously he did, and then Myers cheated. And that's what the whole commentary is doing. It's just like, you cheated to win, and then they're doing that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Gujjar gets the win with the gargoyle spear. And post-match, Myers comes in, suckers Gujjar, and then hits that implant DDT. And then he tells referee Scott Armstrong, easy for me to say, to count the pin as if it's a legit match. And Scott's like, no, I ain't going to do that. And then they argue, and then Bhupinder Gujjar hits the gargoyle spear on Myers. And then Armstrong gets a quick 3 in, and Gujjar steals the Impact Digital Media Championship.
He didn't steal it. He was a match.
With it.
It was a match. He said, how about now? The bell didn't ring, but he agreed to it. And then, he learned from you. He learned from your mentor. Walk it out with a title that don't. That's fair. That's fair.
After the match, well, first of all, Scott Armstrong in the back is kind of like, he gestures as if he kind of won it, but obviously nothing official, doesn't raise Gujjar's hands. But then they're backstage. Gujjar's walking around with that digital media championship. And Armstrong walks back and says, Brian Myers is a jerk, but that digital media championship win, that wasn't legitimate. Gujjar, being, the good guy that he is, says, I know I didn't win the title, but if Brian Myers wants it, he can come and get it back from me if he wants it. I like that. I like it because Gujjar has been led around by the short hairs for long enough. And he's like, forget this. If the dude wants it, he can come and get it. Now there's a bit of fire under Bhupinder Gujjar, and I love that.
That's great. Also, like you said, you've been leading this man around for weeks at this point. So now you want your title back. You got to fight me for it, which I want you to do anyway. And we'll have a title match. It's fun.
Easy as that. And again, the Digital Media Championship is largely inconsequential, but it's fun. And they're not making it look stupid by having this Gujjar and Myers feud. I think everyone is being elevated by it, as silly as it can be.
I agree.
Earlier in the night, Josh Alexander is lacing up his boots, and Vincent walks in, and Vincent's like, hey, we need to start making friends around here, and it's nothing personal, it's just business. And I'm just like, what? That's that's ongoing tonight, by the way. Me being like, what? Whenever someone from from Honor No More speaks to me. Vincent sympathizes with Josh for some reason. Okay. And then Josh is like, I don't like mind games. Meanwhile, he just played mind games with Alex Shelley last month. And then Vincent will need sympathy after he gets hit with a C4 spike. And he walks out. And I'm just like, okay.
That segment, I wrote one line that said, this to be described like this. LOL, I don't play mind games. Beat it.
Pretty much. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That was fun. Vincent versus Josh Alexander was actually a really good match. I really enjoyed this. Very easygoing match, very simple match. It gets your champion on the show. He gets the victory with the C4 spike out of the so Vincent hits a guillotine, and then Josh Alexander turns it into a Falcon Arrow, and then a C4 spike, gets a quick win. It's a good little match, and it didn't make Vincent look bad. That was the most important thing for me. What do you think of this match?
This was the second match that I thought could have been an email.
I thought so.
Like, I understand that it played into the larger angle at the end, and the match itself wasn't bad, but what was the point of this? That's how I felt. Like, what was the point of this? I think that these are two great talents. I just feel like an angle throughout probably would have been more effective, because Vincent, you wasn't going to beat this man up. And even if you did, are you going to beef with Eddie Edwards and say, I deserve a title shot too? I wasn't into it. Because it kind of seemed like, okay, I know what's going to happen. And Eddie Edwards probably going to come out and yell at you for a couple of minutes. And then some shenanigans is going to happen. And what happened? Some shenanigans at Eddie Edwards.
Out comes Edward Edwards. And he's like, hey, Josh, congratulations. You know, at Bound for Glory, we will be opponents, but it doesn't mean that we need to be enemies. And I'm like, what in the grade 8 bullshit are we doing here?
That's please take this finger poke of doom, because I don't want to get beat up. I realized that halfway through the whole segment, because like, oh my God, shut up, Edward Edwards. Please, please. That's like, you don't want to get beat up.
And he's like, this is a bigger war. It's a never-ending war of this industry trying to break down warriors into mindless grunts who don't stand up for themselves. At this point, I'm like, someone took a word of the day calendar, put it on their fridge, and was just like, what makes sense? What's going to work here? And this is what he came out with. Again, what? Eddie's like, I chose to stand up to Impact. And then he calls the fans ignorant animals, and it's Chicago, so you know he's right. But apparently, Cresta, here's the tea. I love this part. Someone on Twitter remarked that apparently at the tapings, at this point, Eddie sat down on the ramp, and the crowd shouted, "Shut the F up" at him for like a solid minute or two. And of course, you have to edit that out. But it was, if they can put that somewhere. And on the digital media side of things, or just bleep it. I don't know. I get why they wouldn't want to air that, because it's just a lot of work just to edit the chant. It's still really good heat. I'll give Eddie that one.
I mean, to me, let me preface and say that I am not a Miz fan, but to me, it's getting Miz levels of heat. And like, it's that fine line of annoying and wow, you're a good heel because I really dislike you. So it's towing that line for me, and it's getting to the point for me, it's getting to Miz levels where I'm like, Jesus, please. But I will give credit where credit is due. You don't want to get beat up, so you are pulling out the Vincent, the mind game. You are doing everything, because that C4 spike looks gnarly, and I would not want to take that either.
Edwards is like, hey, which side are you on? And I'm like, what? And then says, we can stand together in this war. What?
Why? I'm at the top of the mountain. Why?
Finally, Heath stops this shit. Thank the Lord. Hits a wake-up call on Edward Edwards. And he shrugs it and kind of just walks off. So clearly Heath is like, I don't care about the championship. I don't care about the title right now. I just want to beat the shit out of Honor No More and break them down. I'm fine with that, because like I told you earlier, I feel like Heath's going to get involved in the match, or at least leading up to the match, for Edward Edwards and Josh Alexander. That's my feeling.
I love that we now just call him Edward Edwards.
Hell yeah. He calls himself Edward Edwards on Twitter.
I love that.
By the way, there is one Honor No More member that I want to see Josh Alexander face.
Who?
I want to see him face PCO. They haven't had a one-on-one match in Impact Wrestling yet. And I want to see those two face off.
To quote the great French Canadians, no.
Why not? That would be phenomenal. Think about PCO and Josh. Come on. Two Canadians just beating the shit out of each other. Can't go wrong.
For sports entertainment purposes, yes.
There it is.
Yes. You have to really think about like you wouldn't want to see that Cresta. Don't lie.
You would be all over it. You'd be all over it. Just like I'm all over you guys to tell you to leave a thumbs up and donate a super chat. Support us here at Fightful.com. And it really just for Cresta and I, so that we can be like, hey, Sean, look at us. We make money on the show. Please keep us around. Raj Singh and Shira start talking, and then they're interrupted by Moose and Macklin yelling downstairs for some reason. And then Sammy runs up, beats both men up, and they do this thing that I absolutely hate. There's a camera outside, Cresta. Why is there a camera outside waiting for these men to beat each other up? I don't know. I don't care. It takes me away from it. Either way, Sammy's like, hey, I'll kill you. And then Macklin's bleeding and everyone's bleeding. They run barbed wire across Sammy Callahan and they beat him down some more. And I'm at that point, I'm just like, cool, it's going to be a barbed wire massacre match at Victory Road. And lo and behold, before the main event, Sammy challenges both men to barbed wire massacre at Victory Road. Hooray.
So I only have 2 critiques because I popped. One, why even have these poor guys try to cut it? I worked to write backstage and then the camera had already left them. I was like, darn. Why at that point I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna go get some cake. Y'all hungry? That's messed up. And then like Sammy Callahan, I cannot watch his matches because my stomach is weak. But that man plays a crazy person far too well, and I love it. I pop for all of his crazy death matches. I love it. The matches I can't watch, but like the whole thing is funny. I love it. But it's like, honestly, do you really trust? First of all, is that a handicap match? Is it a 3-way? Who's the winner?
So when I watch BTI, there are 2 segments that I watch. One is the match, of course, because we talk about it on the show. And the other thing is, I can't believe I'm about to admit this, Iceman Intels.
I was going to say Mr. Jersey guy.
The guy who speaks like this, like he's an old-timey radio man. I don't get it. George Iceman, I don't get it. I'm sure you're real good, but I do not get the voice. I'm sure if you speak to him, he speaks to you normally. But George Iceman Intels sometimes has some fun stuff. And he's like, there's something afoot between Moose and Macklin. They're best friends, but they don't want you to know. And I'm just like, all right, cool. So I guess they're doing a thing where they're actually together, even though they're fighting each other downstairs in the basement of the venue for some reason. I think it's gonna be a triple threat by the sounds of it. But it feels like it's going to be mostly 2 men beating up on Sammy. And then the 2 guys are just going to be like, well, we're still not friends. They're going to beat each other up, cancel each other out, and Sammy's going to get the pin.
Do you think it becomes this? Because I feel like there was a 4th player in this feud, and I just can't remember who the 4th person was. I could be bugging.
I don't know. But now I'm really tempted to speak like George Iceman, 1950s radio star.
Who said you can't talk like that? Who said you can't talk like that?
I mean, next week I won't be able to be as boisterous as this because my baby will be sleeping in the next room, but I don't have that this week, so it's okay. Yeah, the Iceman gimmick is weird. I love you, George. I'm sure you're a wonderful human being. I just don't understand the gimmick. But I do understand the Jessicka gimmick because it's sick.
I loved it.
She takes on Alicia Edwards, or just Lisha, because we don't know that she and Eddie Edwards are still together. Why isn't Alicia a part of Honor No More? Why did she not do the thing with her husband like Maria? Like, why aren't Maria and Lisha being like badasses running Honor No More? Like, why isn't that?
Because she knows what's up. She knows what's up. Say what you will, but she's smart. She knows what's up. You can't get her.
What do you think? What do you think dinner is like with like the Edwards couple? Like Lisha and Eddie, like what happens? Eddie's just like, I don't know, man. You should be joining the cause. And Lisha's just like, Eddie, we've talked about this like 100 times. I'm happy. I like what I'm doing. I don't want to wear black all the time and be like, damn the man. No, I'm good. The man's all right. The man is paying me more than he pays you. And Eddie's just like, wait, what? You get paid more than me? And then it's just like a whole thing. I don't understand it, but that's just the way it is.
I feel like Lish just looks at him. It's like, I don't. No.
If they did a thing where Lisha said no to Honor No More, then this whole thing is null and void. But I still want to think about the dinners because I'm sure they're still having dinner together. I'm sure they're still like, hey, can we talk about the man? And Alicia's like, no, Not
It
tonight.
gives very much the way Johnny Gargano vibes when you describe it like that. It gives very much that.
PCO is Dexter Loomis. Anyway, so Jessicka is making her debut and she's sick. Rosemary comes out to the Decay music, and then you get this, cause I'm sick, and Jessicka comes out. Great pink battle coat. Got to put that over. Rosemary gives Jessicka the battle paint, and it's a squash match. It's what it's expected. Jessicka does that sitting splash, which I love. The kind of like bottom basement splash. That's what Doudrop used to do, or still does also in WWE. It's what you do when you are a larger competitor than your opponent. And then Jessicka is using the greetings from Asbury Park. Thank you, Bam Bam Bigelow. We miss you. Jessicka gets the win over Alicia Edwards. I'm sure she wants to join Honor No More now.
No, girl.
I thought.
I like the match, honestly. I think one of the things we were talking about last week was, is she going to change her moveset? Is it going to be different? I actually really thought that it was very, I don't know how to describe it besides fun, spunky, upbeat, almost like that game for the Switch or the Wii U with the squids and the guns. I can't think of it.
Splatoon.
Thank you, Splatoon.
Who's the gamer now?
You caught me. Fraud detected.
Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming.
Period. Pull up. We'll play games with you. You can educate.
Hello. So that's this Jessicka match. Anything to add to that?
It was sick.
Nice. I don't think anyone else is making that joke on any of their post shows. Damn it.
I will say Rosemary was pleasantly surprised, but I felt like she was more like the disgruntled mom, the goth mom who sees her kid in all pink, like, be who you are, but
I love the idea and the irony of doing that too. Right? Normally it's like the crazy mom who's like, my kid's goth and it's just a phase. Now it's Rosemary, the goth mom, being like, it's just a phase. She'll come back to me, I swear. She'll do it. She'll see the light. It's good stuff.
She's had it.
Well, I haven't had it with y'all yet. So we're in the home stretch. We're going to talk about the main event. We're going to talk about next week on Impact. Good Brothers are going to take on OGK for the tag titles. Very excited for that match. Masha Slamovic takes on Deonna Purrazzo for #1 contendership to the Knockouts World Championship at Bound for Glory. And Mickie James is back making an appearance because they're in Dallas. I'm excited for that. What do you think Mickie James is going to have to say after walking out and having some things to think about, she said.
Can we talk about how Impact made a screw job package for Mickie James? They just played loss after loss. I'm like, damn, like she really wasn't giving y'all hardcore country as a Knockouts Women's Champion. Like, that was funny. So now I'm thinking, oh, Purrazzo versus Masha. Oh, you getting screwed. You definitely getting screwed. You getting screwed. Oh, Masha's definitely going after Grace. You getting screwed. And honestly, the way y'all played it in the package, Green literally screwed her twice, bro. Like, oh, I'm here for it. Sports entertainment. I'm here for it. Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait for her to give a heartfelt thank you for coming back. And later on in the night, she's hitting someone with a lead pipe. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Who's she hitting with a lead pipe, though?
Green. Oh, absolutely. She hitting Green and being slippery to throw Purrazzo off her game. Oh, absolutely. If she don't hit Purrazzo, she both of them. I changed my answer. Both of them.
Masha, do we do Masha and Mickie versus Vexed, or is it Mickie and Jordynne Grace versus Vexed?
Yes, to both of them.
I think they'll do another one-on-one with Green and Mickie. I do. Maybe at Bound for Glory. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe not. No, maybe at Bound for Glory. If Masha doesn't, again, there's a lot going on. Next week we'll have a better idea if it's Masha or Deonna, and it feels like it's Masha at Bound for Glory.
Could be a three-way because it's screwy finish, three-way, and this way people look protected or whatever it is, but someone still comes out looking strong. It could be that. And honestly, Masha versus Grace versus Purrazzo, I for one am not mad. I am okay with that. I'm quite okay with that.
I'm going to pull this up from the chat. Hopefully we get to see Nick Aldis and Jonathan Gresham in Impact soon. So Gresham aside, because we've seen Gresham in Impact and he was great. He put on the Ring of Honor championship before Ring of Honor was bought out by AEW. Great. Nick Aldis is currently, they're doing a thing in the NWA where he's got heat with William Patrick Corgan and he's out of the title match, yada, yada, yada. If Mickey's making an appearance at Impact, I would love for them to have Nick show up and do something. I know he's contracted with NWA, but that doesn't mean that people can't work across other promotions, right? We're about to talk about that when we talk about Motor City Machine Guns and Time Machine. Even Time Machine itself, right? Kushida is a New Japan star working Impact Wrestling. There's room there to have shit. Nick Aldis was just on Slammiversary. He was a member of the OGs, right? He was a member of the OG Impact team.
He came in and said a few words and left. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was there. So Aldis coming in to do Impact stuff could be fun. I don't hate it, especially if it's Mickey. Maybe him and Mickey versus Eddie Edwards and Alicia. No.
Come on, bro.
Sorry. I had to go there. Mickey James and Nick Aldis versus I don't know who. Maybe I don't know, Chelsea Green and that guy she married. So there you go. That's how I bring Nick Aldis back. Do a mixed tag with those two. We've seen it before, but I'd like to see it again. VBD earlier in the night, Violent by Design. They're talking about the sickness showed up and how it's powerful. Cresta, they're doing something that when we used to do watch-alongs on Twitch for Impact Wrestling on Thursday nights, back when Impact was streaming on Twitch, and they're like, co-stream all you want, I don't care. And we would take advantage of that. So myself and Steven Jensen, who hosts the Weekender podcast and the Spotlight here on Fightful.com, we would watch the show and we'd usually chat with everyone while we're doing this. They brought back the stupid mouth close-ups in the promos. Have you seen this before?
I haven't noticed it.
They say something and then they repeat it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The sickness. And they do it again. And they brought it back to the promos. And I get that they're trying to be like, this is the Violent by Design of old. This is what you're used to, blah, blah, blah. Now, they're out to conquer the world. Spoiler alert, they lost. But either way, they're like, Violent by Design transcends time. They are everyone and everywhere. And I'm like, VBD is God. That's great. Here we are. And then they're like, Time Machine's time is up. So the main event tonight was Jacket Time Machine versus Violent by Design. Very good match, Cresta. Holy shit. Yeah, I called them Jacket.
I just realized when she said Jacket Time, it's like, wait a minute, just a second. I actually didn't hate their promo. To Eric Young's credit, Violent by Design is the past, present, and future. I feel like Eric Young would be the past. Joe Doring now is still on a good tear. He's the present. And Diener, especially in the last match, Diener's been putting on for a very long time. Diener absolutely, once he breaks free of that, Diener's going to be a star. And I cannot wait for that.
He's a star now, and we talk about it very frequently. Again, death, taxes, Diener eats the pin. That's just the way it is in Violent by Design. And I love Diener. Again, he had a great match this past weekend at Greektown Wrestling. Shout out to them. But, that's just what you expect when they lose the match. Literally nobody else loses. Eric Young doesn't take the pin. Big Joe definitely doesn't take the pin. It's always Diener. And when you're in a trio, you always have that person. Yeah. Right? It was for the longest time in WWE for New Day. I believe it was Xavier Woods who kept getting the pin, right? It was never Big E because Big E's the big dude. And it was never Kofi because Kofi's the veteran. And guess what we have here? We have the big dude and the veteran. So you pay your dues. That's just what it is. Diener's not going to grow his hair long and become a redneck again. So it doesn't matter.
Maybe
they mentioned commentary mentioned, they spliced it in, that Motor City Machine Guns are going to be not performing. They're going to be wrestling at All Out. How are you feeling about this? They're going to be teaming up with Jay Lethal to take on the team of Wardlow and FTR at All Out on pay-per-view. How do you feel about Motor City Machine Guns at All Out?
So Sanjay Dutt did all of that screaming, lost his pencil just not to wrestle. So I'm a little disappointed. I absolutely love Sanjay Dutt. He gets so worked up. I love him. I absolutely love him. It's like when I see Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns, I'm like, these are some wrestling uncles, some wrestling granddads who've had it. But I expect a technical match, but I absolutely expect FTR to beat that team up. Maybe even Lethal take the pin. And I don't like, I'm happy to see the match, But at the same time, why isn't Sanjay Dutt and Satman Singh wrestling? I thought that was the build. I'm happy to see Impact get it shine. Absolutely, they deserve every Motor City Machine Guns anytime. Before all of that, why not just have Jacket Time Machine do it?
Yes, it's catching on. Jacket Time Machine.
Like,
Hashtag
why not
Jacket
do it
Time
like
Machine.
that?
Let me give you my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy that Motor City Machine Guns are going to be on an AEW pay-per-view. I'm so excited to watch that match because I know that it's going to be a very good match. What I don't like is that Motor City Machine Guns are also very much faces in Impact Wrestling. They are very much cheered by the audience for not only who they are, but also the type of matches that they have. Why are they teaming with Jay Lethal? Well, it's going to be up to AEW to explain that there's history there, but I don't really trust AEW because of the past that they have with Impact. I don't trust that announced team to go in depth and actually discuss it. Excalibur making 2 comments a week before a pay-per-view isn't going to do it. So I'm not a big fan of that. Again, love Motor City Machine Guns working on a big crowd. They deserve that. 100%.
Agreed.
Shouldn't have been them. And a lot of people are saying it's going to lead to Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR. Honestly, I think it's going to lead to them, but it ain't going to be an Impact. I think it's going to be in New Japan.
Ring of Honor, maybe?
No, because why? Motor City showing up in New Japan makes more sense because
True.
They would. I don't see them showing up in another Tony Khan venture just to do ROH, right? It would make sense to them. This is the Motor City Machine Gun tour. This isn't the FTR tour because
That's
Motor
fair.
City Machine Guns also don't hold the Impact tag titles. And if the FTR world, their whole tunnel vision is being the best and champions, they should be going after the next tag team champions, not Motor City Machine Guns in Impact world.
Agreed. No, I agree with that. That's a fair statement. It's just curious, like you said, what happens now, and why do you put these face with someone who's clearly a heel within your promotion? But like you said, hopefully Excalibur, because he's going to be the only one to explain it.
Sure as hell is going to be Chris Jericho yelling at me for an hour on Rampage, telling me why this is important.
Maybe Taz.
So yeah, like there's someone in the chat talking about FTR versus Aussie Open for the New Japan Strong Tag titles. That's great. We can do that. Add Motor City Machine Guns, make it a 3-way. Sure. It's just like, I don't know. If Motor City Machine Guns are hopefully not going to eat a pin. It's not going to be like Wardlow beating the shit out of 3 littler guys than him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. Again, so excited to see Motor City Machine Guns at All Out.
Absolutely,
I think the crowd's going to give them a huge ovation. I think that crowd will absolutely know it's Chicago. These fans will know who they are. They'll know how great this team is. I just don't trust AEW to tell the story of what Motor City Machine Guns bring to the table outside of them teaming with Jay Lethal.
I think what you said there at the end is very important about the fans. I think that no matter how, even if there's a practice, say, we're jerk asses, as soon as they get out there, that crowd's all go, it doesn't matter. You in Chicago and New York, we know what's up. We will cheer you. We will burn that house down. Literally, Second City. We will burn it down.
So let's dig into the match. VVD versus Jacket Time Machine. I'm sorry. One day I'm stopping. I'll stop. VVD versus Time Machine. First of all, there's a hesitation dropkick from Sabin to Eric Young while Kushida and Shelly are holding Eric Young's legs split onto the ring post. That was really cool. I thought that was innovative. Not only because it's like hit the head and he's going to hit your dick too. So he's going to be in pain. It's good stuff. I like that. Good sneaky tags from Time Machine. I think that's really, really fun. Shows that all these men, while they haven't teamed together as a trio, they have definitely teamed together as independently tag teams. By the way, imagine if Time Machine was able to compete in the trios tournament in AEW.
I was thinking that. I'm like, oh, you're gonna need contenders, and I know y'all like to dip in Impact's pond all the time. And what if on a sneaky yickety, I can see it, and do another interpromotion? Absolutely, yes, steal it, yes.
Do that because New Japan's on good with AEW, and clearly Motor City Machine Guns come in. Have the. I mean, I don't want Kenny and the Bucks to take on Time Splitters or Time Machine and beat the shit out of them. But anyway, it would be a good match. That's fine. VVD does a huge like triple team stuff. Like you've got Doring's big power slam, Diener does a diving headbutt, Young does the elbow drop, and it's 2.9. So I love it. It's good stuff. And then of course Motor City Machine Guns come in. They do a double team on Diener, and then they do it to Eric Young. They do the facial, which is, yes, it's called the facial. Don't make that face at me. It's front chancery into a basement dropkick. Okay, they call it the facial. Scott D'Amore said it at Ric Flair's last match. It's called the facial. That's just what it's called. Cresta, it's called the facial. And then they do a triple facial, by the way, by doing It's a Big Joe with the double kick, the facial.
Johnny Swinger is in the fucking dungeon right now, like, yeah.
Swingman, I want to talk to you. Let's do an interview. Triple facial. That's how it goes. 3 kicks for Diener, followed by a cradle shock DDT, time machine win, and like I said, death taxes, and Diener eats the pin. Cresta, anything to add on this match? What do you think? How do you feel? Are we going to see more from this team sometime and somewhere?
I went to the bathroom right at the very end segment. I'm thinking, okay, I have a few seconds, I go pee, whatever. Come back, it's over. All I hear announced from the bathroom, the winner, Jacket Time Machine. Thanks a lot. That's not what I wrote. I wrote
Yes.
So anyway.
Gotcha. Got him.
So anyway, I'm like, the match itself was good, but now it's kind of like, all right, violent fight aside. What is transpiring here? And to shout back to what you said earlier, you can give us all the throwback VBD vignettes you want, but old VBD wasn't losing. This VBD is. So what's the attitude, pal? What's going on? Is Eric Young gonna make excuses again for Diener? Are you the problem? Because you were in that match too, Young. And maybe it was just me, and maybe I'm looking for something where there's nothing. There was a spot where Eric Young got kicked in the knee, and he went out the ring, and Joe Doring didn't get touched at all, but he got out to go check on Eric Young while Deonna is in there fighting for his life, like someone who said something stupid in the comments. I'm like, why wouldn't you go help this man if he's the one who's going to end up eating the pin, and y'all, you know this. Something's got to give. And I'm not saying they're on the timer like I am with Honor No More, like, yo, come on. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, there has to be another layer. Because at some point, you guys either need to start winning. And if I'm not mistaken, they won. Didn't they win against Jacket Time before? Am I wrong? Because now you got me messed up. Now I can't even think.
Jacket Time, and that's just the best.
Is it? Wait, wasn't 2 of them wrestling when Alex Shetty? Jesus,
Shelly.
What is happening?
We're having a great time.
I don't know what. I can't speak. The woman was too stunned to speak.
Here for it. Are you talking about the match with the Kushida and Sabin at Emergence against EY and Diener?
Yes. Didn't they win that?
Diener and Eric Young won that match.
So then what's transpiring then? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you win, you lose,
bunch of losers. Bunch of losers. Time Machine are losers right now. They need to rebuild. That is why Motor City Machine Guns will go into All Out and probably lose as well. Or they'll get a big win. It'll be a statement win because Saddam Singh will get involved in like Cost Warlow or something.
If Sanjay Dutt shows up, put your boots on. You can't do all of that and then show it like I'm just here. No, put your boots on.
Either way, that was Impact Wrestling for August 25th. The show, I mean, listen, I thought it pushed a lot of things forward. We got a lot of time until Bound for Glory. I know the Victory Road is somewhere in the middle in September, but there's a good amount of time. So there's a good amount of storytelling. I didn't hate this. I kind of agree with you. Some of the matches didn't need to be there, but it also kind of worked as a way to push other stories forward, which I appreciated, right? The Digital Media Championship was moved forward. The Impact World Championship match with Eddie Edwards and Josh Alexander, they kind of moved that forward through the match with Vincent. So it made sense. It didn't suck. So it was a good match. It was a good show. And a good showing for you is if you subscribe over to Fightful Select for $5. We're getting to 10,000, Cresta. We're going to do it. When we get to 10,000, Sean Ross Sapp has like a billion things that he's talking about doing, but at 9,000, how about this? At 9,000, how about I tell the story about how I basically weaseled my way into a job at Fightful?
I respect that. I respect that.
Started back in 2019 at a venue that has since been bulldozed. We'll get to that story at 9,000 subscribers at Fightful Select. Also on Fightful Select right now, if you want all the information talking about Rudy Tooty, Worky Shooty, all the stuff going on in AEW, because God knows there's a lot of it. You want to hear about Eddie Kingston. You want to talk about Sammy Guevara. You want to talk about, I don't know, CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page. Well, I don't know what you do. Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter and everybody. Basically, everybody hates everybody at AEW is what I'm getting from all this. So go to subscribe to Fightful Select. Hear why everybody hates everybody. Sean dropped Q&A today. Did it live. Sometimes he does them live. And WWE Draft News if you're into that stuff. And of course, Sour Graps. List goes on. Yada, yada, yada. Cresta, after last night's AEW, I was very close to pitching Sean on my own AEW Sour Graps show. I have since decided not to. That is Alex's gimmick. We'll let him keep it.
I took a week off, as most of you guys don't know, from wrestling. Had to get my life together, but I tuned in. I was like, I'm having dinner. Let me go ahead and watch. And what do I see on AEW television last night at 9 o'clock? CM Punk versus John Moxie. And I'm thinking it's going to be an hour. I'm so excited. 2 minutes later, what the? So I feel you in that moment about the sour grass. You just look like well.
There were some other things. Trust me. There were some other things, but we won't get into it. How about this? How about I'll talk about it on my show on Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring on Fightful Overbooked Sunday at noon Eastern. We'll have a lot to talk about, and we'll talk about it then. Sunday, noon Eastern, youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Go and follow us over there. Cresta, let's get the hell out of here. Where can the people find you on the internet?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. My name is Cresta Starr. You can find me on all forms of social media besides Twitter at Cresta Starr, CRESTA STARR. If you want to go to my link tree, that's super easy, right down below, Cresta the Star. You click the link tree and all the things are here. Even this podcast, YouTube, Facebook, all of that, and the link. And Joel Pearl, where can the lovely people find you?
Oh, I'm not hard to find. I'm at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Fightful Overbooked is the other place where I drop the content. We do it every day. And here at Fightful, it's this show. That's where you find me. Sometimes I pop up on other stuff. It basically, if like Vince McMahon retires or CM Punk decides to walk out or something, I don't know. Whatever happens, sometimes I end up on breaking news shows with Sean Ross Sapp. If not, Thursday nights with Cresta, that's where I'm at. What's going on this week? What are we doing? Tomorrow, it's Friday. It's Friday if you're listening to this. The SmackDown and AEW Rampage post show is going to go on. That's Kate Elizabeth and Alex Cardoza. They do that. We've got Grapsity on Saturday, as always, and there's NWA pay-per-view this weekend, so good luck. I don't know if there's going to be anything other than the Weekender with Steven Jensen talking about it on Fightful Select. Until then, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, let's get out of here, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.